Guys, let me ask you a question. How do you go from selling low ticket to charging 10,000 and even $15,000 per client and work with companies that literally get an exit offer for millions of dollars 1 week after you start working with them? All because of the services that you provided, all because of the brands that you built. I'm going to cover all of that in this epic interview today. I just talked to David and Rose. They're one of our legends inside Unlock Creators. They're amazing people, amazing entrepreneurs. They have been in the content creation space for quite some time now, and they're absolutely crushing it. And in this interview, we're going to cover how I helped them build their brand infrastructure for their agency, create their high ticket offer, and land amazing premium clients. So if you're a coach, a consultant, or an agency owner looking to absolutely crush it with your brand, this interview is going to give you tons of value. We touch on content creation, on consistency, on a lot of things. So let's jump in. Hey guys, we're here with the legends, David, Rosse. How's it going?
Hello.
Hi, hello.
Yeah, this is a get together. We haven't really been seeing each other lately, so it's awesome to kind of like do a meetup here online on Zoom. So yeah, I really wanted to talk to you guys about like the whole branding, the agency, everything that everyone's been doing lately, because I feel like you've there's been a lot of different projects this year. Definitely a productive one slash chaotic at times. For anyone who doesn't know, like David and I, especially David and I, we go way back. Constantly throughout my channel, I mention the various different businesses that I ran. We actually built the first agency. We're gonna get into the actual agency that was successful here. We built an agency together, right? We built a guitar course platform, which was super interesting. We're not necessarily going to go super in depth in this interview today, but the point is we go way back, and Rosse and I know each other for quite some time now. Not that long, but she's amazing. And what I want to let everybody know is you guys been crushing it with content. So yeah, let's kind of like do a little bit of introduction. David, if you want to take it away.
Yeah, so I'm glad to be here and to share a little bit of the experience we've had while building a creative agency with your help and also creating content and this, which has been a passion for both of us. I actually, all of us, since the beginning. So as I know you for uh, a while right now, I know Rosse for 15 years. So basically, we've had this passion of creating content, showing things, products, and teaching the audience different ideas and showcasing products. So that has been really interesting, and that was the basis of why we actually started a creative agency. Of course, we had a lot of other opportunities that we've worked on, but we were staying at a table and said, why won't we create something that help other people create brands that will be unforgettable, and in the end, customers will pay for it.
Yeah, and in order to be unforgettable, we knew from the start that you were the right person to help us with some things. And I can say I loved content creating from far ago, but after I met you, and it's not going to be like, oh my God, Andre is the best. No, it's not about that. It's about the thing that I always like to make everything perfect. But after we've talked and I saw the way you do your content and the strategies and everything, I changed a little bit my perspective. That's something very awkward because I don't really change my perspectives.
Yeah.
So I really am grateful because I learned a lot of things, and I think we are going to talk about them now.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, one that's the thing. What I found throughout content, and this is what I'm telling everyone, is you can get into that trap of like trying to make everything, every single thing perfect. But I think even beyond that, what you guys did with the agency, I just want to talk about like the branding side of things because Rose here for everybody for context, like she's also amazing when it comes to like branding, pitch decks, all of that. I help them, however, with like the infrastructure and kind of like building the website and pitching clients with that. So yeah, what was your kind of like? Because it was a, I know there was a wild couple of months with like back to back, like pitching clients, talking to people. What was kind of like your experience with that, and how did you like notice kind of like improving the image and the overall brand of the agency? Did you notice like an impact with that in terms of like talking to clients and getting clients?
It was even from the beginning because we had the experience of building the other businesses together,
Yeah.
you and me, and it was really interesting that right away when we started the agency, I said this has to look amazing. So in order to make the customers trust that we can actually build the brand for them, our brand has to be impeccable.
Mm-hmm.
So we only had the name, as far as I remember, and maybe a direction of the logo. I don't know. Rosse made like a big M
I think you guys
with
had the logo, yeah.
that was a gradient from like purplish, but it was modern. But that was all we had. So I came to you one night and said, "Hey, this is what we want to do. This is the mission we have, but it's so vague." And we don't really know what we want to do, but what we know is that we want to pitch high ticket clients in order to, of course, get revenue, but actually have in our portfolio people and businesses that are worth talking about. So I believe it was, we had a discussion for like 5 hours. We met at the coffee shop, as I remember, and we stayed. And that's where actually Rosé saw how you work, the content and the ideas, and how perfectionist you are, trying to make everything really well. And I was at ease because I knew that we were on good hands. And now she can take it away and tell a little bit about how everything fell into place.
Yeah, well, I thought first that something wrong with you, Andre, because you made everything so fast. Like, I don't remember, I think a day or two, and the website was ready. And I used to work with people who gave me like a week, 2 weeks, 4 weeks, the deadline. And when you did it, you took everything and made it like a real agency. I was amazed about, because it was so fast and you were so good at everything, because we had the ideas and you managed to put everything in place and make it look like we didn't know we wanted to look it.
As I was telling David, like whenever there's a project that I really believe in, I just treat it as my own, because I think that's how you gotta work with, especially when it comes to clients. And so that's why the whole project, from like the website and even like some assets, for me was like exactly like what David was saying, was like, how can we make this look like no other agency, like just something like, we call it like the Apple level of like agencies. So yeah, I'm really proud of like how that came about.
And I said I thought it's something wrong with you because I couldn't understand how you did so many things in such, I don't know, in a few hours. But then I realized you don't really sleep, so that's the secret.
It's the coffee's the
So
secret, yeah.
nothing's wrong with you. You just are very, very into things, and you try to put your best in it.
Yeah, and not only that is the understanding, because you can go fast if you know where you're going. So that was the 4 hours that we talked about. This is the mission. This is, and you were asking the right questions, which helped us, really nail and actually focus on what's the most important thing in our messaging and the clients and the avatar of the clients we actually desire to have. We talked about past experiences, which was really important, so we know what to avoid. So that's why in those 4 hours, when we actually understood all the details, that's why the work after that was easy, because you knew exactly what to do from a design point of view, but then actually the messaging. So it's Apple like, it has to be bold, short, and speak vision and inspire people. And that's something that you have in your own brand, and even in Unlocked. It's everything looks so good. And if I just see it, like scrolling TikTok, I see, what's this? I want to see what's more about this. And that's what you transferred to Monogram for us, which we enjoyed.
And the best thing was that after this was finalized, it was like everyone we were talking to were saying, I want to look like this. I want my website to look the same as yours, or I want my branding to be the same, or I don't know, the content, whatever. So it was like the best thing to start with.
Yeah, because I think as David was saying, like when you set that standard for you as the agency, like okay, we look like this, our branding looks like this, and by the way, just so I put that out there, the branding side of things was there before I came in because of you, Rosse. Like it wasn't like there was nothing. I just kind of like I just brought it all together with like the website. But I think that's also what kind of like made you guys successful when talking to clients and getting clients because they saw that there is like a huge level of quality there, right? Like it's not just like a random agency that is just
Yeah,
like
it's
doing.
premium.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
high
Because we
level.
were going. I remember like the David sent me like one day a list of, or like it was like a package with like some deals, like some packages
Yeah.
for companies, and like um the pricing was like high ticket, right? So like you guys
Yeah.
were not selling like $500
Yeah.
projects or something like that. So can you touch a bit on that? Like how did you transition from, because I know Rosse, for example, like you worked with brands before with like content and stuff, but how did you transition from that to kind of like, you know, approach businesses and essentially like pitch them with like pitch decks for the agency and like charge like high prices?
Well, I started content creating, I think 7 years ago, 6, 7 years ago. And for myself, I also made some mistakes because at first I would have given some free things, free of charge campaigns and whatever because I was at the beginning. So I wanted to do things. And after that, I realized that the quality and everything I give is like this is the average, and I was somewhere here. So I started for myself to charge more. Uh, and after that, I realized that everything we do in business should be at the same level. So um, yeah, I think people who saw first myself and my profile, they were like, "Oh, we want the same thing." And I tried to put everything I do in my private life and on my own, on my personal social media, to make them for our clients.
Yeah, and that kind of like showed in, like, because I saw the pitches that you guys were doing, like the pitch decks and the presentations. I know I helped you guys with like one for like the big client like Robolab, but like even the other ones, I think you, because you understood like the importance. I think it's that's what I'm seeing online, especially with content. The higher prices you charge, like the better clients you're gonna get, right? Like if you just like charge super low prices, and we could, like David and I could name a lot of instances when we kind of like made that mistake with clients. I think, you know, the whole experience just sucks if you charge like super low prices. But the higher
Yeah,
you go,
especially because we have like a really good branding and a premium one. If we would have, I don't know, $500 or whatever, yeah, no one would believe it. They would get the same thing as us.
David, any kind of like thoughts on that in terms of like the.
Well, it's the saying, if you pay, you actually pay attention. And this is really important for clients because marketing and actually branding and, creating something that it's, worth watching, following, and actually, buying from that brand. It's really important because if you pay more, you say, okay, we have invested in this. If you don't do that, you have this idea of like, oh, I have to have marketing or a brand or a website just because the other brands have it. But then you understand, hey, because of our branding, this is what actually drives, clients, better clients. And of course, high ticket clients don't ask you, hey, could you please retouch these subtitles because I want them blue, not black. They trust you that you have their brand in charge.
Yeah.
Like their content is on the way to hitting their clients. So this is really important in the way of that. Uh, People are kind of lost, and we know that. But our job is to find the mission and show them and give them the tools. Hey, we've built this for you. You just have to be the best at what you are. If you're good at, creating content, then we'll help you, have a funnel that drives people that are interested in content. If you're good at playing guitar, which is some area that I know of, then you have to make content while you play the guitar, or you want to teach people. If you're good at, sports, do a lot of content of sports. If you're selling a product that has to do with helping people that play sports, then you have to incorporate that in your brand. People are not believable right now in our area, and I believe your brand is believable, our brand was believable. And after we set, the branding, the website, and even the pitch decks, we got our first client, the major Eurobubble lab that you were saying. We got them in the first week. And what was interesting, that in that context, there were three main managers, managing partners in the firm, and one said, "Is like, if we don't go with these guys, we should not do anything, change anything." So that was really, the impact was so big, And right after, I believe, 2 weeks of their rebrand, that we delivered, and you helped us with that, they got a exit offer, which was amazing. So that's the impact of a great branding, great messaging, and actually really knowing what you're aiming for.
Yeah, totally. I think a lot of people, especially like now that you see like so much content online, and I feel like everybody is in this like, oh, I gotta make content, but they don't really have the why behind it. Like they don't know. For example, like Rosse, one thing, if you guys like look her profile up, like one thing that is amazing that I've always admired, and I told you this, was like the storytelling aspects. Like you actually you take time to just write, right? And it's quality stuff. It's not like Chat GPT like text, right? But what I was gonna say before, I think a lot of people right now are just like creating content without knowing, and I'm talking about brands as well, without knowing what is the actual mission and what are we trying to stand for with content, with like the brands, with the, especially if we're talking about personal brands. The why is like the most important thing. And this is what I'm preaching to everyone, is like you gotta, like, before the flashy stuff, before the edits and stuff, go back to the core, like go back to what actually drives you and what you want to stand for here in the online space. And this applies to also the agency, which, to kind of like um, close that that subject, like I love what the agency was standing for, like the whole bold, like Apple, like premium vibe. I think that kind of like resonated with clients as well, which, to your point, David, it kind of like had that impact. Like people were like, if we're not going with these guys, like we're screwed. So yeah, I love that. Now, in terms of like content, just because I'm curious, what's kind of like the vision for now? Like Rose, I know you said you want to kind of like dive into this a little bit more, or kind of like expand on it. Do you have any like what's the vision?
Yeah, well, as you said, I love storytelling, but this is because I used to love, since I was in primary school, to write. So every time I see something in my head is going like a story, like something that has a beginning and an end. So every time I try to post something, every time I make a video, it has to be like, how to say it to not sound too romantic. It has to be like a really nice Disney movie. I
Yeah,
don't
like
know.
really.
I just like the thing that I feel when I write, because most of the times, first I write the whole caption or the main idea, and after I shoot, of course, or make the pictures or take the pictures. So it's going to be based on the storytelling.
Mhm.
But what I would love to do, but I don't think I'm brave enough, is to edit videos the way you do, like more dynamic with the captions, the writing, text, everything. It's not that easy because I don't think it suits the kind of content I make. But I want to make it like more. Nowadays you have to do in 3 seconds everything. If you could show the people in front of the phone everything in 3 seconds, it would be great. So the things with the hooks, you I learned something when we talked, when we had that conversation about hooks. And from that moment on, I started making really good hooks. I didn't do that before our conversation. I used to make just videos like once upon a time, whatever. Now I do everything with a hook.
Yeah.
So that's something I really appreciate. I've learned from you. Um, it's not going to change a lot my content because it's the way I am. So it won't have like a major change, but I am trying to make it more dynamic.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of like the hooks and all of this, I totally get it. I feel like right now there's people are scrolling like all the time, right? And it's so hard to like catch their attention. But there is a shift that I'm seeing where like you have a lot of people that just like crave content that has substance and that is like slightly like longer form. So I think that that is where you could shine. Like that's what I'm seeing with YouTube is like YouTube compared to Instagram is just a whole different game, right? Because it's like the people that watch my YouTube, even if it's like I got reels on Instagram that got like 10 million views and YouTube videos that got 100 views, and those YouTube videos got me clients. The reels with 10 million views, like they didn't do anything, right? So it's all kind of like a understanding all of these different worlds in terms of
Yeah, it's the same thing like the videos you take with your phone and they are going viral because it's more appealing to everyone than the ones you take with the camera, with lights, with I don't know, everything, with backgrounds and whatever. They're not going so well, especially they not in Romania actually, because in the US it's really appreciated that kind of content.
yeah, got it. What about you, David?
So content is still a big part of my life and what I'm doing. So what I try to really understand it's exactly as I said in the beginning, the messaging and the story behind it, because storytelling is a big thing of our brand. We our tagline was making stories that sell, which is important.
Yeah.
And I believe that that's what I'm trying to do also in everything else. Of course, I do know a thing or two about hooks. I've been using them in the past 10 years, but what I realize is that, and I love that the trends are changing back to long form, not so much editing, people that just talk and share their experiences, because this is the need that is in the market. People need to be heard and actually listen and that have that feeling of not being alone. And I believe this is what it's the distraction, creating content that it stops scrolling and so on. But people, if you get the privilege of them following you and they see you have no substance, they will fade away. So I am trying to think of ways to make an audience that is engaged, that comments, that I'm delivering value to them. And yeah, that's what I want to do more. I'm trying a lot of things with editing. I'm trying a lot of things of building brands. But what I really know is like people need to believe you, and that's what I'm actually looking forward to discovering more and more.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, I think for all of us here, it has been like a wild journey when it comes to like this online space. I know, a lot of businesses were involved, like agencies, but I just love this kind of like yeah, I love the journey in and of itself is the what do they say, like the journey is the reward or something like that.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, for us, this entire process of not only like building businesses, but in the middle of this chaos, discovering who we are and creating valuable content for others. I think this has been like I don't know, this has been like the biggest blessing. And it's, it's definitely not because I kind of like want to end with like some advice from you guys for people. I'm talking to like so many people, my clients, other clients as well. Like, what would be your advice for people who just like see others, they see the progress, they compare themselves to others, and obviously with this online space, like we have access to everyone, right? So you see what others are doing, but as you're building like especially an agency or some like a consulting business like from scratch, it's going to be hard. And as you're building it, like, what's your advice to kind of like stay consistent, and is consistency important in actually building the business? And yeah, what's your kind of like take on that for people that are really in it and are struggling?
Me or David?
I don't know, whichever, like whoever. You guys got great advice, I'm sure. So
Okay, so the most important thing I believe is, as I said, and I'm going to repeat myself, know what your why is. If you're doing something without a reason and a bigger reason than you are, you're just chasing fairy tales, which is nice. People love fairy tales. Rosse does, and she loves creating stories that people fall in love with. But the thing is, right now, people do not pay attention. They don't. They have to feel that they have a connection with you, and that in business, like right now, all the businesses that have connected for me is people or brands that I have a connection with, that have seen me for who I am, my character traits. And I believe this is growing right now, because you can have a really big impact. But after the first, month of signing, people just, and a relationship fade away, or you have a lot of, you're disappointed. But if you actually trust people, the reality is, as you said, if consistency is the key and it's really important, you have to trust the person that you're working with. And that trust is built in time, and even in mistakes. And the faster you make mistakes, the faster you learn, and the faster you get to success. It's that saying of like, if you were only 20 mistakes from success, how fast would you be failing?
yeah,
So that's one thing that I'm thinking about, because we think about all the strategies, all the things we can do better, the lighting, the audio, the editing, maybe better models. But the thing is, we forget the whole purpose of it. So right now, whoever is watching, I'm telling you to really focus on why you started the business you started, or what are you trying to achieve. Because if you're sincere, if you want to make money, find out the best skill you have and leverage it through good branding and creating content of it. There's Gary Vee who says, if you keep creating content for 1 year from now on, you will never have an issue with your money. And you prove it in all the videos you have. You have so much content on YouTube that talks about the mindset, the system, the building. And if people would just watch them, they will get for free some things that you have to search on the whole internet, ask every AI, bot, and it's still not gonna focus it, because it's, the magic is in the work you keep avoiding. So these are the things that I'm learning and I'm advising people to really focus on, and it's work. Wake up, show up, and do the work.
totally. Yeah, you, Rose, any closing advice?
Well, I'm talking from my perspective first. Uh, don't lie, because I see on the internet so many people that they have like a perfect life, and after some years, a couple of years, some things happen, and everyone realizes they lied all this time, and they're not. Their credibility is gone. So the most important thing for personal branding and also for brands all over the world, they shouldn't lie with anything. You should be honest with everything you struggle with, because as David said, all these stories and make people connect with the brand, and it's very relatable. So I think that's a keyword, to relate with brands. That's why most of them, even the big ones, now try some different strategies, and they try to make people more engaged with different kind of actions and campaigns. So don't lie, just try to be yourself. And I know it's hard, because most of the people that are going viral, they're not really honest. Some of them, they're lying and telling stories that never happened to them, just to be cool and to be there on the internet. But I never lied on my social media. I always tell the truth, and I gain the community I need to grow. So that would be one thing. And the other, if you choose someone to teach you or to do your marketing strategies or content or whatever, if you choose someone to work with, trust them. never try to put your ideas in front of theirs, or try to change everything they do, because that's the worst thing that could happen in a relationship, in a business relationship. If you hire them for something, trust them and let them work as long as they need to get you your results.
Awesome. I love that. Yeah, don't lie and trust the people you hire to kind of like help you. Yeah, love that.
Especially if you pay a lot of money when you hire them.
Especially,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, look, that's the tendency that humans have. Is like, even if we pay a lot of money, we, because there's ego, right, involved, so we have this tendency
Exactly.
to be like, oh yeah, but I know better. But the truth is, and you guys have faced this like firsthand with the agency, with some clients, right? We're not going to drop
Yeah,
names, but like, when, the reality is, if that company or if that person would know the things that you know, right, like, they would have done those things already. They would have like
exactly.
achieved the results. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of ego involved. But I love this advice, like, don't lie. So let's kind of end with this. Let's stay true to who we are, to our values, and in the process provide value for others and like truly make an impact. That's what we're all about, after all, in Unlock Creators, is like building freedom, but also building businesses that actually make an impact on people. So again, it was a pleasure. We got to see each other for coffee again. Wish you the best, guys, with everything that you're doing, and let's crush it.
Have a
Thank you.
great time. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.